What's up everybody, my name is Brad and welcome back to another F1 2019 benchmark series. If you don't know, the benchmark series is basically where I do hot laps around all the circuits in the F1 game, and then at the end of the game cycle I will try to hot lap them again, see if I've improved on my time. So it's basically just a way to show you guys how slow I am in this game. But anyway, let's jump right into Hockenheim. So here we are in Germany for the beginning of my hot lap. I tried so many times to beat my ghost for this video, but I really just couldn't do it. I must have set it with the racing line on, and of course I'm not using any assists on this series, so this is the best I could do. I couldn't find any more speed than this. You can see that already through 3 turns, I think it is 3 or 4 turns, we are already 2/10 down, and I lose about like a tenth. It feels like every single corner. The hairpin, I make up little ground on the braking zone, but I just get a terrible exit out of there, so there goes my ghost again. I think he's going to move up to 5/10 ahead of me, but it wasn't really sector 1 that I was struggling with, it was sectors 2 and 3. Like this turn here, I just carry too much speed in and get run a little wide, and it cost me a little bit. This turn was pretty bad. I didn't know how much speed I could carry in, and I just was either going in too fast and running onto the gravel, or going in too slow and losing time like on this run. And then these final 2 turns were my worst nightmare. I would either go on too fast and fly off, and then or go in too slow and then lose a bunch of time. And so as we cross the line, we go a 1:13.0. That was about a 9/10, 1 second drop down from my personal best time with the ghost. I did set faster laps. I did get into the 112s, 112.9 to 112.8, but those 2 lap times were invalidated, so I didn't want to use those. I wanted a fair lap time, so that's what I'm going with, a 1:13.0. So next up is Hungary. This is one of my least favorite tracks in the game. They say it's Monaco without the barriers. It's more like Monaco without the fun. Monaco is fun hot lapping because you have to get as close to the walls as possible, but for me, this track is just, I don't like it too much. I didn't have like a personal best time set before I started recording this, so I did some laps until I felt satisfied with how fast I was going, and this was the attempt I came up with. You can see that I'm just barely ahead of my ghost. I'm not even a tenth up on it through sector 1, but I gain a bunch of time through that long right-hander, like 4/10 there. That chicane is pretty bad for me, but I managed to do it just as fast as my ghost, so I didn't lose any time. I ran a little wide on that turn, but it cost me 2/10 or something. I wasn't really looking, but we're back up to 4/10 now. This last penultimate corner here, I couldn't get the braking right, so I lose a little time from a lockup on the front left, I think it was. But somehow we managed to gain another 10th through there, so coming around the final corner, we gain even more time. No, we had more time than we lost it, but we're going to be a 4/10 improvement to make it a 1:18.0. And that's going to be my time for Hungary. It's not my favorite track, but you got to be fast at all the tracks anyways, so you might as well practice on them. Moving on from one of my least favorite tracks in the game to one of my favorite tracks, we are in Spa. This is like night and day difference compared to Hungary, because that one's like a low speed technical circuit. This one's a nice high speed circuit with lots of overtaking opportunities in races. I love driving up El Rouge and Radion. It's one of my favorite corner sequences in the game, because it's just flat out in these F1 cars. So, and then you got this nice long back straight with DRS. You can pull off some insane overtakes, maybe even a crazy dive bomb. I couldn't beat my AI at this circuit either. I must have did the racing line on my personal best with where the ghost was. I think I turned the ghost off starting at this circuit just to try to focus on my own times and not focus on what the ghost was doing. As you can see, we went from green to red. We're back up to green again. But sector 3 was where I couldn't find my time as we go around No Name. Yeah, I think I had good I don't even know these corner names. I should really look it up, but we're up 2/10, but I think starting around these corners, I start losing time to my ghost. I practiced a lot on this circuit just to try to beat my ghost because I really wanted to. Wait, I remember now. It's not this whole Sector 3. I actually did a pretty good Sector 3 through here. It's the last bus stop chicane that I really lost my time at. You can see my personal best is a 1:45.869, and I am up 2/10, and I'm going to immediately lose it all as I brake here. There goes 1/10, and then a nice slow final corner makes me lose my time, but I'm in the red when I cross the line, but it says I increased my time by 5 thousandths of a second, so that's going to be a 1:45.863 for my lap of Spa. Moving on to another high-speed circuit, we are in Monza, the Temple of Speed, as they say. I feel like I did pretty decent around here because I practiced. This is one of the tracks I was practicing on when I was learning how to drive without the racing line, with all the heavy braking zones and the low speed exits, especially around the first chicane here on turns 1 and 2. It's the straight lines aren't really useful for learning, but it's all the heavy braking where I was trying to like really learn my braking points and how to spot them, which is why I chose this to teach myself. So we got a nice second chicane here. We gained about 2/10 on my best time, and then as we go into these double rights here, I maintain it kind of around the first corner, and then I start to gain just barely on the second. Once again, I do not know the corner names. I know this upcoming one is Ascari, and I was a little bit slow through here, I'm not gonna lie. I could have used more curb on the first turn in, but the second and third turns through there were fine. I'm actually gaining down the back straight, and now there's just one more turn left. It's important to get a really good run out of here because it can make or break your time, as it's a nice long run. It's also important for the beginning of the lap because that sets your speed for the pit straight, and we go a 1:21.333, which is not too terrible, I feel like. As you can see, I only completed 3 laps. It didn't take too long for me to beat my ghost from when I was training. But yeah, 1:21.333 is my time for Monza. Here we are in Singapore at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. I don't appreciate how the F1 schedulers decide to put 2 high-speed circuits in between 2 low-speed circuits, that being Hungary and Singapore, to make a nice little low-speed, high-speed sandwich, kind of. I'm always so excited to get to Spa and Monza that as soon as it's over, I'm dreading racing at Singapore. It's just so technical, and the lap is so long because it's so twisty and turny, and you're not really moving that fast through most of the straights and turns. I put a lot of laps on this one just because I had to reacquaint myself with every single turn on the circuit, which is quite a bit. This left-hander, I was struggling with because I always kept going too late on the brakes or too early on the brakes. I could never get it quite right. So that led me to being very good at Sector 1 compared to my Sector 2, my later Sector 2 and Sector 3 times. As you can see that we just lost 2 seconds, not 2 seconds, but 3/10 down to our ghost, who's just pulling away from us at this point. This braking zone was fine, but the next one is really where my time starts to fall apart here. I do a nice little right-hander, and then I can never really get the right amount of speed out of there. I'd always like understeer into the wall, and then I can't think of the name of it. The stand section, whatever you want to call it, is really where my lap falls apart. I lose like 6/10 there. Coming out of the final corner, I do a 1:37.94. You can see what I was saying was reflected in the sector times, where I went a green Sector 1 and then red Sector 2 and 3, but that's all I was willing to do for practice on Singapore. We are heading into unpopular opinion land, because my opinion is that I love to drive Russia. In the game, at least, it's fun to drive. It's easy to overtake just because they up the slipstream power. And I do like the simplicity of the corners, but that's probably just the beginner in me talking. Like here, it's a bunch of 90-degree radius corners, which you can carry a lot of speed over, which I like, and it's actually kind of a bit of a challenge for me once I'm learning. But I didn't really struggle too much to beat my best time. You might have saw it if you were paying attention, but I did set a personal best on the lap right before this, and then I was going for another one. And this does end up being my best time. There's a bit of a incident there where I kind of slid a bit, but I'm in the red. But going through this left-hander, I take a lot of curb. It's just on that very edge of track limits, and I managed to gain 2/10 here and get a really solid back exit onto the back straight, which allows me to gain maybe like a half of a tenth, maybe a full tenth, more like a half tenth. But coming around here, you want to make sure you're braking properly, get around that apex nice and tight so you can get a good exit there. I got onto the curb a little bit, which probably slowed me down. A nice tight left-hander there allows the right-hander to open up on that chicane. Now you got the penultimate corner, which is a nice little third gear corner, and then nice slow right-hander to go on to the back straight, which gives me a lap time of 1:33.687. And I did try to set more times after this, but this was the best I could do. But yeah, 1:33.687, I was pretty happy with that. So next time, we got 5 more circuits left to do. We got Suzuka, Mexico, USA, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. And then I'll probably do a little quick recap of every single circuit time I had, just to make it easier for me to do at the end of the game life cycle, where I don't have to sort through all of my videos. And then I think I'm going to do a wet weather driving one of every single track. It's probably not going to be fun for me, because I hate wet weather driving, but hopefully it won't be too bad. But anyway, if you liked this video, leave a like, comment, and if you want to see more of my content, please subscribe. And thanks for watching.